Good evening, welcome to the November 9th Clifton Park Town Board meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Teresa, if you will call the roll.
Councilman Whalen?
Here.
Councilwoman Standard?
Here.
Councilman Morelli?
Here.
Councilwoman Wallowit? Here. Supervisor Barry?
Here, on the first cut, there are no board minutes, communications and announcements. On the first cut of the agenda, I had Corey Kirchert scheduled to be here. He could not make it this evening to discuss the ideas for us to consider regarding a slightly revised town seal. So hopefully Corey can join us in the future, and we'll talk more about those possibilities. I'd also like to thank the Department of Health from Saratoga County. They joined us during our 6th public mask distribution that we held last week, and they handed out hand sanitizer and helpful information about COVID and other health issues that we should all be concerned about. We had plenty of masks for people that showed up, and we look forward to doing another public mask distribution again soon. It's very important that the town has been prepared for months now to make sure that as many people in town have protective masks as possible. And we've certainly given out many thousands of masks. I want to thank the team for getting that done. Like I said, we'll have more of these in the near future. It was a uptick in cases. We got up to about 159, 150s going into the end of last week. Back down to about 136 today for active cases in Saratoga County. Sadly, there was another death reported from someone with COVID, and it was a 67-year-old gentleman from Clifton Park. So our sincere condolences go to his family, and it's just a very sad situation to know that one of our fellow residents has been afflicted and has since passed. So we'll continue to do everything possible to get out as much protection to people in Clifton Park, and so we'll have some more on that soon. Any other communications or announcements at this time?
Veterans Day.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
This Wednesday, as everyone knows, is Veterans Day. We will be doing as a small ceremony at the Commons at 11 a.m. The intent is that we'll have some invited guests from, I believe, the VFW, the American Legion, Boy Scouts. The intent is that it be live streamed. I think we would do it over Facebook Live or some other media, so it's not meant to draw in a public crowd, but it's meant to do a small commemoration in the town that all of our residents and beyond can participate in from their home with their families and loved ones.
Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, it's we were not originally planning to have a Veterans Day ceremony because obviously restrictions on public gatherings. Folks that usually attend these ceremonies, most of them are in the vulnerable category, so that would be a concern. By doing it this way, we can keep the gathering small. Certainly people can be spaced out rather easily, and we can stay away from any concerning situations. So again, it won't be a ceremony that'll invite public at large to attend. for all of those reasons. I know people understand that, but still an opportunity for us to remember and commemorate the selfless service of so many great men on Clifton Park and beyond. So, thank you. Okay, we do have several resolutions for consideration. Teresa, do you read through those, please?
A resolution accepting 2 applications for inclusion in the Conservation Easement Historic Preservation Program located in Clifton Park, whereas a public hearing was held on November 2nd, 2020 to receive public comment regarding 2 applications for conservation easements for inclusion of parcels of land located at 989 Main Street and 393 Bishop Ferry Road in the Conservation Easement Program in accordance with Chapter 125 of the Town Code as amended. And whereas the town board has considered the applications and the comments received, now therefore be it resolved that the application for a parcel of land located at 989 Main Street, Clifton Park, owned by Greg Periotto, is hereby accepted and is granted a 25-year conservation easement historic preservation in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 125 of the Town Code, and be it further resolved that the application for a parcel of land located at 393 Bishop Ferry Road, Clifton Park, owned by Melanie Stakowitz, is hereby accepted and is granted a 25-year conservation easement historic preservation in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 125 of the Town Code. And be it further resolved that that the said applications whose parcels have been granted a conservation easement shall execute an agreement provided by the town of Clifton Park. A resolution determining that establishment of Clifton Park Sewer District Number 2 Extension Number 1 is an unlisted action for purposes of the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, whereas the town board is considering the establishment of Clifton Park Sewer District Number 2 Extension Number 1 to operate, maintain, and administer sanitary sewer improvements and facilities along Princess Pine, Bittersweet Lane, and Durham Way, as well as 3 properties on Crescent Road west of Bono Lane, more particularly described within the map plan and report prepared by MJ Engineering dated October 14, 2020. And whereas pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, the SEQR Act, the regulations adopted pursuant thereto by the Department of Environmental Conservation of the State of New York, being 6 NYCRR Part 617 as amended the regulations, the town desires to review the proposed establishment of the sewer district extension pursuant to the SEQR Act and regulations. And whereas MJ Engineering has prepared an environmental assessment form to classify and to assess potential impacts of the project, and whereas the provision of sanitary sewer service to residential homes is in the public interest and is consistent with environmental policy of the town board as expressed in all comprehensive planning documents. Now therefore be it resolved by the members of the Clifton Park Town Board as follows. The board adopts the environmental assessment form prepared by MJ Engineering as consultants on the project, and the project constitutes an unlisted action under 6 NYCRR Chapter 617(2) as it constitutes a streamlined legislative procedure only. This resolution shall take effect immediately. A resolution establishing the Clifton Park Sewer District Number 2 Extension Number 1 in the Tremont Estate subdivision of Clifton Park. Whereas by resolution number 120 of 2020, the town board established Clifton Park Sewer District Number 2 following the abandonment of the former Crescent Waste Transportation Corporation to the town under section 119(3) of the New York State Transportation Corporation laws. And whereas the town board now proposes to establish the Clifton Park Sewer District Number 2 Extension Number 1, the extension in the Tremont Estate subdivision to operate and maintain existing infrastructure adjacent to facilities now operated and maintained by the new sewer district pursuant to Article 12A of the town law to provide for the maintenance, operation, and administration of the sanitary sewer systems within the area of Princess Pine, Bittersweet Lane, and Durham Way, as well as 3 properties on Crescent Road west of Bono Lane. And whereas a map plan of report relating the establishment of the proposed sewer district extension dated October 14, 2020 has been prepared by MJ Engineering, competent engineers licensed by the state of New York in the manner and detail required by the town board, has been filed with the town clerk in accordance with the requirements of Article 12A of the town law, and whereas resolution number 198 of 2020 called a public hearing to be held on November 2nd, 2020 at 7:05 p.m. to hear all persons interested in this matter and to take action as required by law. And whereas the resolution was published and posted as required by law, and whereas a public hearing on the matter was held by the town board on November 2nd, beginning at 7:05 p.m., and the matter was fully discussed and all interested persons were heard. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Clifton Park hereby determines that the notice of the hearing was published and posted as required by law and is otherwise sufficient. All the property and property owners within the proposed district extension are benefited thereby. All the property and property owners benefited are included within the limits of the proposed district extension. The establishment of this extension of the sewer service is in the public interest, and be it further resolved that the map plan report prepared by MJ Engineering and dated October 14, 2020 be adopted, and be it further resolved that the town board hereby approves the establishment of the Clifton Park Sewer District Number 2, Extension Number 1, as the boundaries shall finally be determined and approved by the acceptance of the sewer system improvements and facilities as set forth in the map plan report, which improvements including acquisition of pipes, pumps and materials, acquisition of lands and easements, legal and engineering fees shall be financed through the collection of sewer district assessments as detailed in resolution number 198 of 2020 and the map plan report dated October 14, 2020. A resolution appointing Cheryl Reed as a part-time building inspector in the Building and Development Department. Whereas the Department of Building and Development has requested permission to retain retired building inspector and fire marshal Cheryl Reed as a part-time as needed basis due to the volume of permit review and inspection requirements in the department. Whereas Ms. Reed has extensive experience and expertise in both the state fire and building codes as well as town code requirements. Now therefore be it resolved that Cheryl Reed be appointed as a part-time building inspector to be used approximately 2 plus or minus days per week as needed to be paid from general fund building and development part-time employee, grade 10, step 11, $53.21 per hour with an estimated cost to the end of the year of $3,100 to be paid with the transfer from general fund building and development Cheryl Reed to building and development part-time employee effective immediately. A resolution authorizing the purchase of a 3.0 cubic yard stainless steel spreader for the Department of Buildings and Grounds. Whereas Daniel Clemens, supervisor of Buildings and Grounds, requested authorization to purchase a stainless steel salt spreader. And whereas TNT Sales Incorporated, 411 Old Muskegon Road, Latham, New York, provided the lowest responsive quote for the spreader per the attached quote at a total cost not to exceed $5,488. And whereas Daniel Clemens has recommended the equipment be purchased from TNT Sales Incorporated. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor of Buildings and Grounds to purchase the 9-foot 3.0 cubic foot stainless steel spreader from TNT Sales Incorporated, Latham, New York, in a total amount not to exceed $5,488 from Clifton Common Equipment. A resolution declaring a public emergency pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 1034, for repair to playground equipment at Collins Park and to increase the budget. Whereas on October 7, 2020, a high wind event classified as a derecho caused significant tree damage in Clifton Park, and the Buildings and Grounds Department subsequently identified a slide unit crushed by fallen trees at the Clifton Park playground and reported at the Collins Park playground and reported it to Selective Insurance Company of America. And whereas repairs entail the acquisitions of a replacement slide and its installation, and whereas Section 1034 of the New York State General Municipal Law provides that in cases of an emergency situation arising from unforeseen circumstances affecting public property or the health or safety of the public, the town board may authorize the purchase of service, material, and equipment without competitive bids. And whereas Daniel Clemens, supervisor of Buildings and Grounds, contacted JK Playgrounds and Playscapes for the replacement playground equipment pursuant to an invoice report for $5,543 dated October 30th, 2020 attached. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board determines that the resulting damage to the playground equipment at Collins Park as determined on October 7th, 2020 constitutes an emergency for procurement purposes under Section 1034 of the General Municipal Law, and be it further resolved that Mr. Clemens is authorized to purchase the replacement slide from JK Playgrounds and Playscapes 1222 Central Street, Bristol, Connecticut. Be it further resolved that the comptroller is authorized to pay the amount of $5,543 to JK Playgrounds and Playscapes from Collins Park Equipment. And be it further resolved that the comptroller is authorized to increase revenues from insurance recoveries and increase expenditures from Collins Park Equipment by $5,543. A resolution consolidating the town transfer station with the Department of Buildings and Grounds, adjusting job titles and providing salary adjustments for senior staff within the department. Whereas with the retirement of longtime transfer station supervisor Jeff Vedder, the supervisor has proposed consolidating the transfer station within the Buildings and Grounds Department. And whereas the town board wishes to approve adjustments in the job description and chain of reporting to accomplish the reorganization and to provide salary adjustments for staff who are assuming additional duties and responsibilities. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby establishes the title of Director of Buildings, Parks and Recreation per the attached duty statement and job description. And be it further resolved that Daniel Clemens is promoted to Director of Buildings, Parks and Recreation with a salary adjustment to grade 10, step 10, year 3, effective November 10th, 2020. And be it further resolved that the town board hereby establishes the position of transfer station manager pursuant to the attached duty statement and the job description. And be it further resolved that Donald McHugh is promoted to transfer station manager at grade 7, step 8, year 3, effective November 10th, 2020. And be it further resolved that recreation maintenance supervisor Karen Lynch is hereby promoted to grade 8, step 2, year 2, pursuant to the revised duty statement and job description effective November 10th, 2020. And be it further resolved that the motor equipment operator, maintenance mechanic, and laborer staff within the departments will report to Daniel Clemens through Karen Lynch as outlined in the attached organizational chart. And be it further resolved that the total increase in salary to the end of the year shall be $2,127 for all three individuals, and these funds shall be transferred from general fund transfer station bulk collection to the respective lines as attached. A resolution authorizing the sale of equipment declared surplus by the town board and authorizing departments to sell the surplus equipment at public auction. Whereas Daniel Clemens, Director of Buildings, Parks and Recreation, has identified vehicles, equipment for the attached as surplus property, and whereas based upon the recommendation of Mr. Clemens, the town board declares the items on the attached list as surplus. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board authorizes the Buildings and Grounds Department to sell the surplus equipment as is through an upcoming online public auction. A resolution authorizing the purchase of a new CAT 938M front wheel loader for use at the transfer station, whereas Daniel Clemens, Director of Buildings, Parks and Recreation, has requested authorization to purchase a new CAT 938M front wheel loader to replace an aging 1999 938A unit whose cab has deteriorated and requires replacement, whereas Milton Cat Commerce Drive, Brooklyn Park, New York, has the new 938M unit, associated work tools available from New York State Contract PC 66988 for a total sale price of $178,568. And whereas Milton Cat's quotation includes a trade-in allowance of $20,000 for the 1999 unit, now therefore be it resolved that the town board declares the transfer station's 1999 938A front loader unit to be surplus property and authorizes its trade into Milton Cat. And be it further resolved that the Buildings and Grounds Department is authorized to purchase the new front loader unit from Milton Cat pursuant to a total contract price of $178,568 and authorizes the comptroller to pay $158,568 after applying the quoted trade allowance. And be it further resolved that the comptroller is authorized to solicit bids to enter into a capital lease to pay for the purchase. A resolution creating the position of Senior Center Program Coordinator for the Brooklyn Park Adult Community Center, whereas the membership, activities, and programs offered by the town's Senior Community Center have grown exponentially since the town assumed the responsibilities for the center in December of 2016. And whereas Raina Monaco, who has been responsible for the implementation of many of the center's programs since 2017, has applied for and has accepted a position with the town's highway department. And whereas the supervisor has recommended the creation of a full-time program coordinator's position to help ensure the continued growth and success of the senior center's programmatic mission based on minimum qualifications associated with the needs of the facility. Now therefore be it resolved that the position of the senior center program coordinator is hereby established per the attached job description and the new position duty statement provided by the Saratoga County Human Resources Department, and be it further resolved that the position will be a competitive position per New York State civil service and will be compensated at grade 4 commensurate risk experience.
Thank you much. Are there any questions on the resolutions? All right, if you could read the headings, please, Susan.
Resolution number 214 of 2020, a resolution accepting 2 applications for inclusion in the conservation easement historic preservation program located in Brooklyn Park. Second.
Moved by Mr. Whalen, second by Mrs. Standard, 2 very valuable applications. And we're pleased to partner with both property owners. We've discussed these in detail. Is there anything else you'd like to add on this, Mr. Whalen?
No, like I said, they've had unanimous support of the Historic Preservation Commission, and happy to have them in the program.
Yeah, it's, you know, I don't know, I don't go by there all the time, obviously, but the new restaurant at the old Jonesville store, as it's known, seems to be very busy, which is great. It's great to see a lot of activity. So we certainly wish them all the best, and they have a tremendous concept, and we wish them great success there, and I'm sure they'll do very well in the future. And Melanie Stakowitz at 393 Bishop Ferry Road, beautiful home just up the street here. So very pleased to move these forward. Any further discussion? Yeah, Teresa?
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallach?
Yes.
Supervisor Garrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 215 of 2020, a resolution determining that establishment of the Brooklyn Park Sewer District Number 2, Extension Number 1 is an unlisted action for purposes of the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Ms. Wallen. Discussion? Teresa?
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallach?
Yes.
Supervisor Garrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 216 of 2020, a resolution establishing the Brooklyn Park Sewer District Number 2, Extension Number 1 in the Tremont Estates subdivision of Brooklyn Park. So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Morelli. We held the public hearing on this matter. Mike, have you had any questions since the public hearing?
No, there were a few questions the night of the public hearing in the hallway, very simple questions, but no, nothing other than that. One gentleman did stop, I apologize, one trooper stopped into, he must live around there somewhere, and he asked about ownership of the grinder pumps, and we told him it's his responsibility.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, no.
Which is common.
Very.
Which is very common. We all know there are some very unique circumstances. In general, that is common. I haven't received any questions either since the public hearing. The report for the extension has been posted on the website for weeks now. As I mentioned at the public hearing, I did send a letter to all the relevant properties to ensure the property owners knew of the public hearing, as well as where to find the report on the town website. Mike, as far as the payment timing is concerned, there's 2 elements to what they're paying. One is to the county, which they're already paying annually as part of their county tax bill. Now, the additional charge for operations and maintenance on the infrastructure in the street that serves their home. But what's the timing of that? I think it's too late for us to get it on the county bill.
I think you're right. I think what we will do is we will go ahead and do a quarterly billing next year. I think I'm going off the top of my head here, but I think it works out to be 41.55, give or take a quarter.
Well, it would be the same as
Crescent.
Crescent
Right.
Waste, which is now Clifton Park Sewer District number 2.
Right, but we would prepare those bills and we give people, the way we do bills when we have to mail them is we will set it up quarterly, but it's an annual charge.
Mm-hmm.
We allow people to pay what they can, pay it all in the beginning, pay it all at the end, however they want to do it. And we make everybody aware that if they do sell their home, they need to call us for closing information, that kind of thing. So it works out pretty well. We've been doing it for a long time with Old Mount Farm and Riverview Landing, and obviously Clifton Park Sewer District number 2, which we're just wrapping up. So we're set up for it.
Okay, good. Well, the good news is at least they have the information that's been readily available, giving them all kinds of details about the infrastructure that serves their home, the cost structure, and in a good bird's eye view of what the infrastructure looks like around them as well. So it's something that I hope everybody learned a little bit more about the subject. They probably don't think too much about day to day, but important nonetheless. So thank you for your work on this, and I think this is a positive move for that neighborhood, and the timing is very good since we, as I said, obviously we all know we just took over Crescent Waste Services. All right, very good. Any further discussion, questions for Mike? All right, Teresa?
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morales?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rowland?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes. And your total sewer customers continue to grow although there are no more large private systems out there.
Correct.
We've now accepted ownership of several in the last 20 years, but there's no more large ones out there.
We got a lot of accolades this week from people in Clifton Park Sewer District number 2. They're very happy with the town. They see us out there install. You're all laying in the road with your heads in the manhole, and they all come running out because they've had problems. And when we're telling them we're installing technology to tell us there's a problem long before they know there's a problem, they're just ecstatic. So it's been a good week. Last week it's been a good week of
It's been a good few months.
upgrades. Yeah, but people are really paying attention and happy. They're nervous when we're around, but when we tell them what we're doing, they're like, "Oh my gosh," because we never saw people before.
Oh, Mike, if I'm coming down the street and I see you laying on the road with your head in the manhole, I will.
Just poke me, make sure
I'll
I'm
be
still
sure
alive.
to clap and thank you for your service. It is a tough job, but in all seriousness, even as we were accepting ownership, and we began to install the upgrades that we've done at the other sewer districts that we accepted ownership of, and that makes a tremendous difference in the general daily operations and maintenance of the system, and alerts when there is a problem before it grows and becomes bigger than it necessarily needs to be. So yeah, I think people in that system see a definitive upgrade in service and attention to the daily operations. There have been some issues over the years. We're doing everything we can to be proactive to hopefully stop as many problems from occurring as possible.
Yes, sir.
Good job with that. No, I've heard a lot of positives about how it's played out since we assumed ownership. All right, Lisa.
Resolution number 217 of 2020, a resolution appointing Cheryl Reed as a part-time building inspector in the Building and Development Department.
So,
Moved by Ms. Wallet, second by Mr. Morelli.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, very good. Any questions or discussions here? Anybody? Okay. Steve? Oh, Steve's here. Almost missed him. Yeah, well, you came all this way. I don't want you to feel slighted.
Well, I think it'd be valuable to have her back at part-time to
up to complete training with some of the guys, switching people around a little bit of department, so. But yeah, as needed basis. He has no interest in doing work full time anymore.
Yeah, so do you plan to, we're getting into the winter months now, did you plan to have a, just for everybody's, information, did you plan to have a set schedule or, just?
No, I don't think, I think it's gonna be kind of as the work, different things come along, we can set up, fire inspections for her to come in and do with, John, say, we pick a day of the week and, fuck her, if she's available, and do her in.
Mhm.
I don't have it defined, but I'm sure she's going to be here, and not be here, so. It'll depend on her schedule too, what she's doing.
It's nice to have options. All right, any, questions for Steve? Okay, Teresa.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallach? Yes. Supervisor Barrett?
Yes,
Resolution number 218, 2020, a resolution authorizing the purchase of a 3.0 cubic yard stainless steel spreader for the Department of Buildings and Grounds. So moved.
moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Ms. Waller. Dan?
Yeah, this is our oldest salter agreement that we have, and over the last month or so, our guys have been going through all of our snow plows and salters, and going through this, it's in pretty poor condition. And the truck that it goes on is in even worse condition. But I have a truck that's in nice shape, and so we get this salter, we can put it on a much newer truck with a nice new salter, and be 100% reliable. And the salter, the old one, we put a few $100 into it, it'll work, we'll get by, and it's about the same as the one at the transfer station. So a couple resolutions from now, that all happens, I'll bring it down there, there'll be a spare for down there, so we'll have parts and whatnot, to make sure we have every area covered, that we're responsible for, it's like.
Good. Any, questions for Dan?
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallach? Yes. Supervisor Barrett?
Yes,
Resolution number 219, 2020. A resolution declaring a public emergency pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 1034, for repair to playground equipment at Collins Park and to increase the budget.
So moved.
Second?
moved by Mr. Morelli, second by Mrs. Standard. Dan?
Yeah, so back at the beginning of October, that big storm that went through and caused all that damage throughout the town, well, a rather large tree decided it would be great to go right dead center of a whole slide structure over at Collins Park. And it just completely wrecked it. There was no repair of it. All the bolts were stretched and ripped and the steel was all bent. So we cut the tree up and moved it out of the way. It's just caution taped off right now, and the insurance company came and they're going to take care of the cost. But the same guy who put it in is JK. He can get the exact same replacement for us at a really reasonable cost and get this thing fixed up. So nobody will really know in a few months that it ever happened, except for this big stump there now.
Yeah, right. Okay.
You're gonna do that before winter?
Hopefully. I don't know about the availability because everything is kind of back order and shipping is a problem, but we're certainly gonna try. Yeah, we'll rip out the old stuff no matter what, now that this will be all set, and the insurance company will be all set, I can go ahead and take it out. We're gonna do that ourselves.
Just in case it stays 70 right through the winter.
Yeah, I think it might, I'm feeling it's gonna,
You never know.
well, we got a new salter, so now things going on.
Well, we can always use it next year.
Sure.
Okay, any questions for Dan? Yay, please.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallach? Yes. Supervisor Barrett?
Yes,
Resolution number 220 of 2020, a resolution consolidating the town transfer station within the Department of Buildings and Grounds, adjusting job titles and providing salary adjustments for the senior staff within the department. So moved.
Second.
moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Morelli. So you have the job titles here, as well as what the grade steps and year adjustments that each person would be elevated to. I want to thank everybody for their careful review of this initiative. And I know Kieran, Don, Dan, very excited about this opportunity. And it's a way to apply some additional resources to a situation that, um, was not running in an ineffective manner whatsoever. This is just an operational change from how it's been done in the past. So it's not a reaction to a facility that is poorly run. It's not the case at all. But I know these gentlemen here that will be accepting additional responsibility will do a great job to not only ensure that the transfer station continues to operate in an efficient manner, but also find cost-saving measures that will enhance service for our permit holders, but at the same time, always be mindful of the taxpayers' monies. It's also important. So I want to thank all of you for jumping into this with 2 feet and being available to answer any questions that anybody had during this process. And I know we have every confidence in you, in the 3 of you in the past, and certainly do in the future. So, yes.
I have a couple of questions for Attorney McCarthy. Since we're establishing a new department, essentially.
Not
Will
really.
have, yes, will it be a change in the town code? There's a change in the code, but
I don't see that as necessary. I don't really see it as a change in the town department. There was the civil service department at our department, it's the Saratoga County, suggested this title because of the way they felt that it meshed the 3 management positions. Their suggestion,
You do, like,
is that blue light supposed to stay on, Matt?
Yes, is it not?
No, only when I push it.
Well, your switches is probably adjusted. It's always part of the control.
Back where it was.
civil service.
Civil service had made a suggestion. I don't see it as requiring a full change in the name of the department. I thought
only
the
change in the code.
Or change in the code. I
That's,
thought,
that was kind of where I was going to put the
Right.
change. And the other question is, on the first page, typical work activities to the director. The last sentence, hiring of all staff in the parks, recreation, and buildings and ground. It's on the first page after the resolution.
yeah, I mean, that was, again, that is an existing title.
It could, yeah, it kind of, hiring all staff in parks, recreation. Under typical work activities.
Yeah, at the bottom of that.
Yes.
That is an existing title. That's an existing job description. I think the town of Half Moon has this title on the books, whether it's implemented or not, I don't know. I think there is a clear difference between the programmatic titles and job descriptions in the Parks Department, who have no responsibility for maintenance or repair
It's,
of
yeah.
facilities. I did speak, we did have a conversation about the words and the fact that we had a separate Parks and Rec department that they pulled out as a conference call between myself, the director of human resources, and the staff that we typically deal with up there. And they put the phone down, so we'll call you back. And they called me back the next day.
Okay.
And they said they had reviewed the job descriptions and they didn't find any confusion because there was a clear differential between the programs that the Parks and Recreation Department runs and the maintenance and repair obligations that the other folks do.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Teresa?
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Walloway?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 221 of 2020, a resolution authorizing the sale of equipment declared surplus by the town board and authorizing departments to sell the surplus equipment at public auction.
So
Second.
Moved by Mr. Morelli, second by Mrs. Steinhardt. Dan?
Yeah, these are old mowers that were used down there. There's a big, huge old Jacobson
Down at the transfer station.
at the transfer station, yep. HR 15 with a Parks mower. It's very worn out and done. There's a small Jacobson 6-foot mower down there. There's also completely worn out, leaking fluid, and just all done. Got its full use out of it. It's probably 25 years old. And an old tire machine that isn't work either, right in the middle of the floor. And there's a nice new tire machine up this building, so it all can go. And we have plenty of other options of mowing equipment now that it's all one department buildings around. So we use down there to mow.
Now, the tire machine, I asked Don about that. He said it was used very sparingly, right?
Yes, yeah.
But tell us a little bit more about the tire machine itself. Yes. I mean, it's basically it's not a, when you think tires and machine, you might think of a large thing, but it's only
Yeah, it's probably only
very
about
small.
2 feet wide, 3 feet long, sits on the floor.
Yeah.
And you put your tires on, you hook air up to it, and it dismounts the tires and then remounts them. You've typically seen in a garage, but it's not big, it's not huge, but it's definitely an old and outdated machine. Can be dangerous if it's not in good working condition or not, and it's not. It's been around, so the bar can fly off and hit you and break some bones or something, so we don't need any of that. So we have a,
Well, that can happen with any of them.
yeah, sure. You have to
It's
be
nothing to
trained.
mess around with, that's for sure. Used one a few times in my day. And those were real old, because I was young. That was a long time ago. But the mowers, so if we don't invest any more money into these mowers, which you're suggesting that we don't, you are storing a mower down there at the transfer station?
Yeah, there is one down there we brought down just last week, about a 2-year-old Toro 6-foot mower. It can stay right down there for the time being, for sure, finish out the year. As far as other mowing, I may just add it into our rotation where I have our four people out every day mowing. It could be just a stop on there. It might be more convenient to have different guys go down and mow that on a Monday when the transfer station is not open, so that you don't have any worry about residents being around, get right in there and knock it out with a couple of bigger machines and just be done with it. And the other guys can spend more time working about transfer station stuff instead of having to worry about mowing the grass on a Tuesday or something. It'll be already all done.
Right. Yeah, like you said, you can go down there when it's closed. And, we don't, back in the day, Don was on a mower a lot, not as much anymore. Just because of the way things have changed with the capital landfill and the solar array that's now on there. There's a chain link fence around the whole capital landfill. We in effect are leasing that land to a private sector company. And then on a large portion of the capital landfill where the solar array is not located, that's an area that we dedicated to planting of wildflowers, bee and butterfly habitat. As Frank Berlin has been here to speak about many times. So there's a lot less need for mowing at the transfer station than there has been in the past years, but obviously we want to make sure the grassed areas do remain looking good and aesthetically pleasing. All right, any other discussion, questions? Okay, Teresa?
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morelli?
yes.
Councilwoman Walloway?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 222 of 2020, a resolution authorizing the purchase of a new Cat 938M front wheel loader for use at the transfer station.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Ms. Wallace, second by Mrs. Standard. So we this resolution would purchase a new Milton Cat loader on a state contract. The price also includes a trade-in value for the old machine. And any, I know you both looked at it. Obviously, Don has driven it. Anything else you want to tell us about? I guess at this point, this is a good opportunity to still have some value with the old machine and bring in a new machine. There was some, the cab, we'd need to invest a significant amount of money in the cab, which, based on the trade-in value, replacing the cab would be more expensive, right? I think that was about
Yeah,
$40,000.
the cab alone was $40,000 purchase, and then they would have to, obviously, we couldn't replace it because of the garage height you needed to do it. And, all the logistics are taken off, all the hoses, computer lines and everything, so they estimated that would be another $20,000 in man hours, so you're up to $60,000 right there. You just repair, and the trade-in value reflected the work that needs to get done. And Don, talking with Don and the other ones, it just made more feasible talking with Cat too, to eliminate liability and just trade it in and get something that's gonna last us another 20 years.
And how soon, can we get that, very soon we can.
Yeah,
take
he
delivery,
said,
right?
I called him tomorrow morning and said it was a go, that he can have it here by Friday. Swap them out, have it here by Friday.
The first payment on the lease we wouldn't make until 2021, which was part of the budget amendments that we put forth and approved at the public hearings. Anything else on that, Mark? Anything that left out?
No, that's true. Neither.
All right, very good. Any discussion, questions? Okay, Teresa?
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Morales?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallach?
Yes.
Supervisor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 223 of 2020, a resolution creating the position of Senior Center Program Coordinator for the Clifton Park Adult Community Center. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Morelli. We have talked about the prospect of creating a new position at the senior center. The senior center continues to add programs in a very safe manner, and just doing the best we can to provide some programs and activities, recreation for seniors. Certainly, seniors aren't coming in large groups and, playing games or getting together for discussion groups in large numbers, like they have in the past. Any activities that do occur, there's spacing and obviously the requirement that masks be worn, but they are adding more, very gradually as we move forward here. And today, again, with the weather being so nice, there was a rather robust bocce game going on outside, so that was good to see. But that's not going to last for too much longer. So I do want to thank the group at the senior center that's working hard to provide these activities. I want to thank Raina Manafo, as we have at recent meetings. I think we all have. Thank Raina for her great job she's done from the day the town assumed operational responsibility of the center to today. So thank you to her very much. And this position would allow us to find somebody to replace Raina. As I mentioned at another meeting, I asked Raina to list all of her responsibilities on the job. We plug that into this job description. And she does quite many different responsibilities. She does them well. Anything you want to add here, Tom, as far as the discussions with civil service?
No, just that I should apologize that the description is not attached to the resolution. We should have done. But essentially, it is a brand new position, so it will be competitive, which means that the successful candidate will ultimately have to take and pass a civil service test that will be quite a distance into the future because they are so backed up now with existing tests for existing routine everyday titles because of the pandemic that, they would have to create a test for this position because it's a new position in the county, we kind of trailblazed this one. So that step will be out there. But with that caveat, we did draw the minimum qualifications as closely as we could to the listing of tasks that Raymond had given us. I'm sorry, I should have put the description on the resolution.
Well, I think everybody has it, but, yeah. So we have it at a grade 4, kind of leave the steps open based on experience. We do need to post this for 10 days internally. So if we do approve this position, need to get that posting up right away.
Okay.
Time is of the essence at this point to fill the position. All right, very good. Are there any questions, concerns, discussion? Teresa?
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Standard? Yes. Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ballmer? Yes. Supervisor Barrett?
Yes. Is there any other business to come before the board this evening? Okay. At this time, we'll go to public privilege. John, did you want to speak?
Nothing about town business, a couple political concerns. I don't know if that's appropriate here.
It's up to you. I don't know what they are, so
I'll take a shot.
Okay. John, come on up, please. How you doing today?
Not bad.
Good.
Good. I appreciate the sunny weather.
Oh, gosh. It's incredible.
Okay, John Bologna, 16 Goldfield Lane, Rexford, New York. These past couple of years been real contentious. Watching Good Morning America this morning, if the governor was accurately quoted, he should be ashamed of himself, or he has no conscience. He was upset that there was good news on vaccine trials claiming up to 90% effectiveness. He wanted it announced after the inauguration. We believe what this virus is going to kill everybody and the great cost to society, culture, and country. Out there. If it was announced now, it's good for the human race. This virus doesn't care who you vote for.
Well, that's certainly true. You're certainly right about that. I didn't catch the what happened there. I know there was an announcement by Pfizer, and they also have a partner too. But they have vaccine that's 90% effective in trials. COVID. That's obviously a very good step for the human race, as you mentioned, John. And so we'll see where that goes. I know there's a delivery system involved that's difficult because they need to keep it extremely cold as it gets distributed out. But I'm sure we'll find a way to do that. The market was up 5-6% on an already big number before the open this morning. It was an incredible day for the stock market, that's for sure. There was a stock that went down today. Well, I guess there were a couple that went down. Zoom went down today. Zoom and I think Netflix went down. It was like anything that's been up, 100, 200%. I think Zoom had been up 200%, and was down a little bit today. But yeah, but there were very few down stocks today, that's for sure. So you're right, John. Good news for America. Good news for the world. All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Second by Mr. Whalen. Discussion.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilman Sandberg? Yes. Councilman Morelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lawler?
Yes.
Supervisor Ware?
Yes, thank you.
Wouldn't that hurt?